The Golden Knights play a pair of home games this weekend as they will be facing St. Louis on Friday, Anaheim on Sunday. Our previews come your way next, right here on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Happy weekend to you all. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you by FanDuel. Start off this season with a big return at FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. By the way, Golick, I wasn't holding out yesterday on the episode with the audio. It said that it had posted, and it just did not fire. I don't know what happened. I'm not the
WTF is at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. VGK coming off of that blowout win over Colorado on opening night has a couple of games over this weekend, and they have 2 games in 3 days. So I just want to start off by talking about VGK goaltending. How will they play it? I know that Bruce Cassidy, I almost called him Cousin Brucey, Bruce Cassidy and Sean Burke, they have, this entire first month mapped out. Does that include the debut of Ilya Samsonov this upcoming weekend?
I think it does on Sunday against the Ducks. That would seem to make the most sense. Team traveling. What's that?
Okay. No, I thought you were looking at the calendar.
I have I'm prepared. I did 2 things. I laminated, I had my wife laminate a schedule for me. And then I always have a hard time remembering the hashtags for all the teams. So I got this laminated too. So when I'm doing my post and stuff. That's nice. I thought ahead for once in my life. No, I think tonight is going to be Aiden again. That seems to make the most sense. Anaheim, a little bit of a lesser opponent. You run Samsonov out there, and then the road trip, they'll probably go 2-1 as well. I mean, it's a regurgitation of what Cassidy said last year with the goalies, which I talked to him a lot about, just trying to get his pulse on things and things like that. But basically, they have a map, and it's probably 30, 45 days out. And this is if everyone's healthy. This is if there's nothing strange that happens. Performance will play a part a little bit. As long as both goalies are making their layups, so to speak, then nothing's going to change. But performance will play a part if one of the goalies does start to suffer.
Great scheduling, by the way, by the National Hockey League. This is why Gary Bettman was here the other night. Okay, let's just start off the new season having 2 opponents, both St. Louis and the Ducks, each coming into town on the tail end of back-to-backs. Let's get going. Get me going early in the morning, Golick. St. Louis last night forcing OT as they got by the Sharks last night. The Blues have had 2 come-from-behind wins to start this season at Seattle. And last night, on Thursday night, they came back from a 4-1 deficit to defeat the San Jose Sharks. It was a Braden Shen goal 45 seconds into OT. So we know one thing about this St. Louis Blues team. They have some moxie, and you've got to play a complete, oh boy, Mr. Cliche this morning. You have to play a complete 60-minute game.
You do, and historically, Blues Golden Knights games have been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of drama in the third periods, especially with lead changes, comebacks. I know Golden Knights climbed to a third period 3-goal deficit once to defeat the Blues at a game we were at. Just for whatever reason, whenever the Blues and the Golden Knights play each other in Vegas, not as much in St. Louis, but in Vegas, there seems to be fireworks, whether it's physicality or a late comeback or 8 goals in the third period. However it goes, Blues games are usually a little more exciting. And I mean, if last night was an indicator, Blues came back from a 3-goal deficit against a hungry and young Sharks team. Celebrini gets his first goal, not even trying. So kudos to him for that moment. And but yeah, it'll be a fun game tonight. Me and Chris will be in the Fortress again. We'll see if Chris gets a little more screen time tonight.
So he got some screen time the other night. That is official. That's
It
confirmed.
is official. I got the video, but I don't have it uploaded right now. But I got the video.
Posted on Monday, maybe on here. Uh, okay, did you see that Celebrini, that goal that he scored? Pretty amazing. Spinorama, backhand. It went off of the skate of, I think it was Matthew Kessel's skate. Any relation to Phil?
No.
And
no,
then,
I wish there was. How cool would that have been? But no, unless there's something Kessel doesn't know about.
And then past the goaltender, Joel Hofer. Hofer last night had 25 saves, so that means that BGK will definitely be seeing Jordan Binnington in tonight's game. So
goalie fight, let's go.
That's fireworks in and of itself. You got
Binnington. Whenever I pull one of his cards, I call him Psycho Binnington for obvious reasons. But Binnington is a fair goaltender that he's going to keep the team in the game. But type of goalie, you rattle his cage by chirping him a little bit. You get in front of him, get a little contact going, and that can go a long way if the Golden Knights can just kind of get inside his head early on. This Blues team is interesting. I mean, you got Bushnevich. Obviously, he's still around doing his thing. Dylan Holloway, youngster, stolen via the offer sheet. That was pretty interesting
both
to
Holloway
see.
and Philip Broberg.
Yeah, no, I was going to get there in a second, but yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You got Kyrou, you got Jake Neighbors.
Yeah.
Brandon Saad is still there. Rob Thomas. I mean, defense is probably where there's a little bit of leakage, so to speak. Parayko, he's getting up there as far as age.
Yeah,
born in 93. May 12th birthday for Parayko, by the way. Peronovich, another one. I mean, Pierre-Oliver Joseph, you know a little more about him, obviously, from the Rangers days and things like that. So it's not a bad Blues roster. Is this the Stanley Cup roster from a few years ago? Not necessarily, but still a decent team, and it's early in the year, so teams like this are going to be tough outs.
Yeah, I watched that opener, or most of it. Well, at least all of the goal scoring in Seattle. St. Louis scoring 3 times in 3 minutes in the second period. They took a 3-2 lead. Then there was no more scoring. And 2 out of those 3 goals, I believe, were from the stick of Jordan Kyrou. So pretty interesting. I think it's going to be a fun game there at the Fortress tonight. And here's a team that did not sign any big names. We'll talk about the game coming up against Anaheim on Sunday, but 2 teams really that they don't have the big name superstars, if you will. Perhaps more with St. Louis.
I mean, Ducks, we're not going to get much of that now, but Ducks obviously are in a transition. Blues, kind of hard to see what their path is. I mean, obviously, the Broberg and the Holloway situation is an indicator of what their future could be, but there's obviously a lot more work that needs to be done. I think the important thing is the Golden Knights have 2 significantly lesser opponents on paper. Number 1, coming up this weekend. Number 2, these significantly lesser opponents are coming in off back-to-backs on the road. So I know Tony's all pissed off about that, which is fine. But the reality is, it's 4 points. Go ahead.
Where you're from, you have heard of Wrigleyville. You've heard of Wrigleyville. This is Rigville.
Wrigleyville, anything cool about Wrigleyville is the Metro. Metro is a great concert venue in the Cubby Bear and Goose Island.
The hunt for Rig
itself.
The hunt for rigged October. That's what we're calling this October.
Back to where I was going. It's 4 points or bust. I know it's October the 11th and 13th as far as the games go, but you look at what happened last season with the Golden Knights needing until game 80 or 81, whatever it was, to qualify for the playoffs, and their prize for qualifying was the top ranked team in the Western Conference in the Dallas Stars. So in a situation like this, 3 points isn't good enough. 2 points isn't good enough. It's 4 points or bust given the circumstances. Hopefully, the Golden Knights find a way to get 3 points on the road on the East Coast next week, and then they got a 4-game homestand, so they got a really good chance to pile on some points and hopefully put themselves in a better place. I mean, the Golden Knights should start decently based on this schedule. I know it's a different circumstance and a different team, but it's still a very favorable schedule as we're talking about this weekend. I know Tony beats the rig stuff to beats like a dead horse, but the reality is the Golden Knights in their first 3 games, 2 of the first 3 games are against people on back-to-backs while the Golden Knights are at home. So that's certainly advantage Vegas Golden Knights. These are points that need to be banked because tough days will be ahead with this team, and that's not a knock on this year's version of the Golden Knights. That's what happens with every Vegas Golden Knights team in the middle third of the season. They need points now. So 4 points or bust, get out of the first week of the season with 6 points, and see what happens next week on the road.
Cassidy will begin with that narrative. I guarantee it. After he listens to this show, he will start with, "We need to bank points." That's on my bingo card for this weekend.
What's he supposed to say as a coach?
Well, coming up next.
What's he supposed to say?
We will talk about the
upcoming. Because we understand Sunday sports doesn't mean he's copying what we're saying. Other people maybe. I busted someone the other day privately with that, but that's not.
Oh, that was pretty good. Up next, our preview of VGK Anaheim. That's the Sunday affair that comes your way next. I keep using that word affair. I don't know. Next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Gametime has a new feature. It's called Gametime Picks, and it makes getting tickets for your favorite. You sniffling? You got a cold, bro? Okay, Gametime Picks makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. We only do this on WTF, by the way. Gametime Picks, it filters out all of the fluff, so you can see only the incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. They have some great promotional opportunities there that you can find. They've got curated deals that make it easy to find the super deal. There's also seat views before you buy, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. And with that priority seating, Gametime Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and much, much more. My favorite feature is all-in pricing. And to do so, you just have to make sure that you turn on this feature, and it will help you out to get the all-in pricing so you know exactly what you are facing at the end. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets today with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You will get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use the redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime.
Gametime.
Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco in a slow-moving Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Thank you so much. We've got some college hockey in town over at the Orleans Arena this weekend. You might want to check that out. University of Minnesota, I think, is the biggest program that'll be there. But there's University of Omaha. There's a bunch of teams there. So, again, all in the name of the hockey. We want to point that out. So that's Friday and Saturday over at the Orleans, our good friends over there. And, of course, 2 out of 3 games this weekend for the VGK. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, it's the Chris and Chris Jr. show. And, of course, that is Chris Golick and Mr. Jumbotron himself, Chris Golick Jr., YouTube exclusive. Sunday, a doubleheader here in town. I like these big sports days. I do. We've got the Raiders and the Steelers with all the Steeler fans invading the Al this weekend. It's at Allegiant Stadium at 1 o'clock.
They call it the Al. I like that. I like that. I just figured out why they called it the Al. It's good.
When they first opened it, they called it the Al. And I used to use it a lot, but then other people started to use it. And then I just quit using it because I want to be the
at least Tony's love for local media extends outside of hockey, guys.
It's outside of hockey. Yeah, for sure. And VGK Anaheim at T-Mobile at 7 o'clock. So you can walk over to the game pretty much. I know some folks, AKA Alan Snell, takes his bicycle over there. Okay, so this will be the last home game before 3 consecutive on the road for the Golden Knights. And this could be a 3-0 start on the homestand. Still thinking about the late season loss. I don't know if it burns the remaining players. There's not very many left for VGK. The 4-1 loss to the Ducks late in the season. Anaheim won 3 of 4 versus VGK last season. And Bruce Cassidy will have to tell you himself about how important it is to beat teams like Anaheim, win the games you're supposed to win this season. That will be important. Oh, yeah. And by the way, John Gibson is on the IR. So we probably will see who? Dostal?
Dostal, or you'll
Dostal
see, or James
Reimer?
Reimer. I mean, I'm not
James
sure. It
Reimer?
depends on who plays, obviously, on Saturday and all that. But I'm probably Reimer if I had to guess. 36-year-old James Reimer.
Can I? Okay. I don't think Anaheim has even played one game yet. And so VGK will have another advantage of playing, that second game over the Ducks. Okay. That's okay. It's okay. No. It's not rigged. Not rigged.
This Anaheim roster is something that's going to be significantly better. I mean, on the top end, obviously, Trevor Zegras, Robbie Fabry, Vetrano, that's obviously where your experience comes from. But then you got Zegras. Then you got Cutter Gauthier, who's obviously the touted rookie. You got Leo Carlson. You got Mason McTavish. So that's a lot of youth that is going to anchor this Anaheim Ducks team for years to come. And they're probably a little ways away from getting to that point where they're going to become, a powerhouse, so to speak, in the Pacific. But those days are probably a couple of years away. I mean, obviously, Anaheim and San Jose might wind up being the class of the Pacific, 3 years from now. And it'll be interesting to watch and see how the Golden Knights possibly fit in there. Defense, Cam Fowler, captain Radko Gudas. I love that move, making him captain. He's a very worthy captain. I think he'll be a great captain in the NHL. 33-year-old Brian Dumoulin, the Kanan Lacombe rookie, Mintyukov rookie, Tristan Lanau, all young guns I'm pulling out of packs of cards in the last 3 years, basically. So, again, it's a young Ducks team that's learning. They do have some veteran leadership that's going to help them learn, and how it translates into wins and losses. I mean, I think they're going to have a better season than like the Chicago Blackhawks, maybe. But outside of that, we're talking a team that should be in the bottom probably 3 of the Pacific. And again, 2 points the Golden Knights have to have. End of story.
Okay, so we understand how much left in cap space.
19 million and change.
$19 million.
The floor is 65 million. They're at 68.3. Their projected cap space is 19.6. Current cap space 19.9. However that shakes out.
Can they pay off Robin Leonard? Can they take that on? Maybe they have some.
He's already gone, Tony. He's gone. Knock it off.
So do they wait until the trade deadline? I know that they had whiffed. I remember a lot of the rumors, right? Stamkos, Mitch Marner. They had a number of players that they whiffed on. They did not get an opportunity to sign any of the big names. What they found were a number of complementary pieces like Jensen Harkins from Pittsburgh and Carson Meyer, who last played for Columbus. They have depth pieces is all that they signed. Does this help them?
They don't. Fine. It helps them get a roster and hit the cap floor if it helps them in that regard. I mean, the Ducks aren't in a spot to get a Stamkos or even a Mitch Marner. It's the Ducks need to develop what they have. And then once it seems like they're ready to make the jump, that's when those moves might happen. But honestly, I don't even know if it's going to be players like that. Definitely not a Stamkos, who's 33, 34, something like that. And a Marner makes a little bit more sense, but still, you're not going to make that move unless the team is projected to compete at the worst for a playoff spot, but possibly make a run. So I think this year, again, like last year, get through the season, develop the youth. They got obviously a very highly touted rookie in Gauthier right now. Plus, you still have Leo Carlson, Mintyukov, McTavish, Zegras, Drysdale. Drysdale, I think, is in Philly now.
Yeah, he's gone.
But there's a lot of really good players there. And it's weird because you're not going to find young, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds in free agency because of the way the NHL structures deals and entry-level contracts and things like that. So if they're going to get more young players 25 and under, it basically comes via trade or through the draft. And the Ducks aren't going to start trading away draft picks and things like that because they're still building right now. So the Ducks are just comfortably hanging out, saving some money on the salary cap. And the splash probably comes not this year, probably at the trade deadline next year for some younger talent. And then maybe 26, 27 is when we're talking about a Ducks team who might be talking about needing to bank points against teams like the Golden Knights. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I want them to be good. It just it bolsters the division. It's just better for the fans, especially. So Troy Terry, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's on the third line now. Remember back in the day, not very long ago, but Zegras and Terry were the future of this organization. And I thought that they were both on the same line at one point. Yeah, two superstars.
Maybe. I mean, the Ducks line combinations right now per daily face-off: Gother, Leo Carlson, Alex Killorn on top, McTavish, Fabry, Zegras second, third line Strom, Vetrano, Troy Terry, who I think is their highest paid player. So yeah, I mean, we'll see exactly how that plays out. But I really think Troy Terry is our highest paid player, and he's on the third line.
He's on the third line.
Troy Terry, $7 million AAV. He's their highest paid player on the third line. So that's
who is he? Who is he? He's William Karlsson, third line.
To be fair, Troy Terry's in the lineup right now. I did a Tony move. I'm sorry, Rita.
What what adjustments does VGK have to make following that first game, do you think? I don't think there's going to be as much.
Nothing is the answer to that question, Tony. Absolutely nothing.
But there won't be as much open ice in this game against St. Louis, I believe. Just based on their structure, there won't be that kind of open ice. It's just things opened up after that first whatever he is from Frozen, after his first outing.
Olofsson, who had 2 goals in his debut with the Vegas Golden Knights, Tony.
Okay, next time he scores is when? December? Okay, go ahead.
I don't think so.
No adjustments, none at all.
No, I mean, you're not going to see any line changes, number one. I don't think.
No, but like adjustments maybe on the ice that we might see.
I mean, yes, you adjust per the opponent, but is Coach Cassidy going in that locker room after that game saying, we got the Ducks on Friday, we got to clean things up, and this needs to happen? No, it's going to be the same type of breakouts that we saw as far as those stretch passes and those timing plays to get the puck quickly through the neutral zone. The defense is going to obviously, hopefully, play a tight checking game and try and limit. I mean, there was a lot of open ice out there where they being the Avalanche, got behind the Golden Knights defense a few times, and that's going to happen. The Avalanche are a really good team, and the Ducks could do that too. They got a lot of talent that's quick and can get up the ice, and the Golden Knights need to just keep the pace and control the pace. If there's one thing that the Golden Knights probably could do a little bit better, it's control the pace from the opening draw, instead of in that Avalanche game where the Avalanche dictated things for the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game until the Golden Knights were able to kind of find their legs. So first shift of the game important for the Golden Knights on Sunday and tonight, obviously. But as far as adjustments go from a totality perspective, just clean game and kind of take what they give you, which shouldn't be much. Should be plenty for the Blues and the Ducks to offer the Golden Knights as far as opportunity in these next 2 games.
Yeah, because they're both going to be tired. And WTF, that leads us into WTF coming your way next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Don't forget, fans, to check out FanDuel. Why? Because it is America's #1 sportsbook, and FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of Locked On Golden Knights. There's a lot of action all over the board this weekend. Yes, you have hockey and hockey lines and betting. And of course, we've got college football aplenty. I'm going to try to prove that Oregon is a fraud. I think that Ohio State beats them up there in Eugene this weekend. That's just my own pick. That's my opinion. I'm not telling you to take it or leave it, whatever. But you can check out all of the betting lines, college football, NFL, hockey, and much, much more right there at FanDuel.com. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can also check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you placed your bets. And you will get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com. Check it out. Start off this season with a big return at FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. You could find us wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, make sure that you check out the Chris and Chris Jr. show. That is the exclusive on YouTube each and every Saturday morning. YouTube's cooking. I'm sure that you probably have some comments from there. It's time for our WTF feature. I will start things off with Adin Hill. Adin Hill yesterday releasing his new helmet, Formula One themed. WTF. Locals don't like F1 here. WTF. Is he trolling the locals? Read the room, Adin Hill. WTF.
I want to ask a question about that. So, what large Vegas company is extremely fond of F1? The Conventioners Authority, right? Is that who that is?
Convention authorities.
That's who's a big part of bringing this here, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's the same people that made a nice, generous donation to the Aces to be.
Correct.
I have no idea. I'm just wondering how that all plays out.
If you are wearing an F1 helmet, that is going to organically bring a lot of traffic to the net. F1.
Only if the locals had skates, Tony. Only if the locals could skate. F1 is a disaster, and it's unfortunate that. I mean, listen, Aiden likes F1. Fine, good for him. Good for him.
WTF, back-to-backs, a couple of opponents, first 3 games. We have 2 opponents coming into Las Vegas on the tail end of back-to-backs. WTF in the world is this? So blatant. The NHL is definitely rigging VGK's schedule once again. They adapted again. Oh, you know what? We're going to have a lot of new pieces. So let's beat these teams up. And I'm going to go check the schedule and watch teams like Tampa are going to have to fly from Chicago the night before to face VGK next week. You watch. I'm telling you, it's rigged, and I'm telling you, watch out. Here we go again. WTF.
Yeah. All right. This is from YouTube. Mr. Rice-UVQJ. Talking about the Oilers, and we were talking about the Oilers a few shows ago, whatever. So here's the comments about that gets me here. Oilers aren't scary. The Western Conference champions aren't scary. McDavid is an all-time great regular season player, an average in the playoffs when defense tightens up. So, Mr. Rice, you just called a player with 117 points in 74 career playoff games and a Conn Smythe winner average in the playoffs. What the Friday are you thinking with a – I'm not going to say what I really think of that, but what are you thinking with a terrible comment like that? That's the best, worst adjective I can come up with. Brutal comments, brutal perspective, awful to call McDavid an average player. A Conn Smythe winner is not average in the playoffs. Forget someone who averages basically 1.3 points per every playoff game that they play. So WTF, Mr. Rice. I'll hit some on the Twitter right now. Eric Rabbers, WTF, will be in the Fortress this weekend. Wants me to grab a hot dog with him today. I'll see if I can meet up with him. I don't know. I gotta check.
Nice. Okay.
Huber Jacker, WTF, VGK fan panicking about injuries after day 1, even if it's Vegas. Bjorn. I made the Bjorn part up. We'll have time for that mid-season after the 10th injury and 4th surgery. Tony, you'll like that one right there.
I like that one. Okay.
Is this real life from Tommy Vegas? We have chemistry and looks like a picture of a fishbowl. We have healthy players. We have a productive power play. We have okay goalies. That's fair. And decor, don't wake me up, WTF. And looks like a picture of his kid in the backseat of the car wearing a seatbelt.
Very cool.
Right there.
Safety first.
David the Great Blue Check. Blue Check, but it's in like quotation. Blue Check doesn't actually have a blue check. I actually like that. I might do that.
I like that. Maybe I'll do that.
Why didn't they put a left-handed shot on the right side of the power play shooter? Take a deep breath, relax, take a deep breath. All right, one more time. DK Buckner. I live in Utah. People keep telling me I should ditch the hashtag VegasBorn and start supporting the hashtag Utah Hockey Club. But as long as VGK exists, I'm sticking with them. Can't wait to shout Knights during the national anthem right here in my home state, which is allegedly Utah. WTF.
Okay, did you see the worst seats in all of hockey? We talked about obstructed view. There are fans there in the arena in Utah, right, that can only see one goal. So if you're in the end zone, the overhang covers up the goal nearest to you. So when they talked about obstructed view, I mean, that might be the worst I've ever seen in any sports. And if you could only see one goal, they better be charging you half price. They've got to be.
It's funny you mentioned it. I'm actually looking right now. I want to see.
It is awful. It is awful. You could only see one of the goals there. So they've got a lot of work to
the
do.
Listings, I'm not sure which side it is technically. I don't know if it's the 215 side or if it's the 101 side.
I think it's a 215 side, if I were to venture a guess.
So, but tickets are from $76 for when the Vegas Golden Knights play there versus on the other side.
Are you going to one of those games up there?
I don't know. I gotta look.
I mean,
I don't
you
know.
went
It's
to
so
Arizona
tough
for
with
crying out
work and
loud.
stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Arizona. No, I mean, listen, but they advertise. Well, number one, was Leah Hextall did the spot in the opener with the Blackhawks where she was actually up there and the camera walked down and you see basically the entire opposite end. You see all the way down to about the low face-off circle without any issue. The net itself is a little tough, but they advertise it as an obstructed view seat. It's not like you get there and you're surprised, so it's fine. I mean, listen, if that's the difference of getting a family or a person or a group of people in there that can't pay for the big expensive seats at the red line and lower and whatever, if it gets more fans into the game, it's fine. It's good. It's not a bad thing.
Okay, WTF? Just a little bit about the gold carpet. That was very classy on the part of VGK. I saw that there was the no carpet look in San Jose last night. They walked through an alleyway, literally.
I saw that. Yeah, I thought they were. I thought Will Smith and Sabrina were getting mugged on the way in.
It was like really awkward. They just went through some alleyway. So that's classy.
No
WTF.
paparazzi.
Of course, I wanted to talk a little bit about. Well, of course, we heard in that post-game interview from Jack Eichel that was not a salmon-colored suit. So the jury's still out on what color that actually was. Was it pink? We don't know. He won't confirm or deny it. I want to talk about the suit that Arbor Chakai of Montreal was wearing.
Jeka.
No, I went on there. Chakai, they said. I went on pronunciations.
Call him Wi-Fi.
Okay, Wi-Fi. Your guy, Wi-Fi. But Wi-Fi, did you see the lining of his suit on opening night?
No.
Opens it up. What does it say? Up and down. F spelled out U. Friday U. F-U. All the way up and down.
Like the actual word was spelled out?
Oh, absolutely.
I like this guy. I like this guy.
I know.
I like this guy.
And here's a guy, however you are going to pronounce his name. I went to the official pronunciations, and you're correcting me, but you're probably right. But you're probably
wrong. They're wrong.
The
official pronunciation is wrong. Golick is right. I could be wrong, honestly.
He wanted to fight Ryan Reeves, but Ryan Reeves, for the first time ever, was like, screw that. I'm at the end of my shift. I'm a little bit gassed, and I'm going to the bench. So he did that. In the preseason, here's a guy, Arbor, we'll call him Arbor because I could pronounce that. 44 minutes in penalties. Did you see that in the preseason? 2-game misconducts in the preseason. WTF. This is what VGK needs. They need some grit. They need some grit, man. Like that's what's
some
missing
sandpaper. I like Wi-Fi. I mean, he's obviously got a screw loose when it comes to how he handles himself out there, but he's fun. Yeah. Really quick, just minor WTF. It was kind of weird on opening night. They did not introduce the entire team and all of that, which I actually liked. I think on opening night when they introduce every single player, every single coach, the training staff, and all that, I think it's just a little too drawn out. So it's kind of nice just to have a normal, opening night experience where you got the show and here comes team, you start playing hockey. So positive WTF for that.
Okay, and one WTF on the way out. I have to again point out this misfire by local media. No big deal that William Karlsson wasn't skating. He'll be in the lineup on opening night. Wrong. That's a great prediction right there, folks, for people that are around the team every stinking day. And then, of course, Giannis Romdyork will make the team. Of course, superstar, he's already locked in. WTF. On the way out, I do want to talk about at the new Lee's Family Forum. We've got college basketball, December the 14th. I'm involved with these guys, so let me get my promo in. We talk about cards all the time, right, and all that. So December the 14th, Bradley against Santa Clara, VCU, that's Virginia Commonwealth for the fans, against Colorado State, and the finale at 7:30 on December 14th, the University of Pacific against our very own UNLV running Rebels. And you could get tickets starting today at 10 a.m. at the Lee's Dollar Loan Center, the Lee's Family Forum. We appreciate everyone tuning in. I had to throw that out there. I wanted to see if you were still paying attention. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much. Make sure that you subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. That's where you can find the exclusive Chris and Chris Jr. show. You'll have a fine recap tomorrow of tonight's game, which is really cool. And the fans they appreciate that. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Little Chris even got blasted for his predictions there the other night on opening night. So we will. Did the Knight lose the battle? I have over 1.5 losses this season in the opener. No. Golden Knight. No, he won. Okay. He lost last season to break a very long win streak. So I have a feeling he'll lose at least. He's losing his touch at least 1.5 times. You can find that on FanDuel.
Lee Archer losing his touch. Poorly.
I know. From my man Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Have a fine weekend, everyone. We'll see you again Monday right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.